Welcome to another day where I am providing you with practical tips to improve your workplace culture. Today, I want to talk about listening. The Harvard Business Review conducted a study of top executives concerning the role listening plays in their work, and they found three typical responses. So I want to ask you, do you ever think about listening? How well you listen? Well, what they found was that many did not think about it, but once they did, they realized that listening accounted for more than 80% of their work. Second, do you think it's an important part of communication? Sure, listening is an important part of communication, but it's one that's often overlooked and therefore it's weak. And third, do you think that not listening well may account for some of your past challenges at work or in life in general? And according to Harvard Business Review, yes, that is true. Many people realize that not having good listening skills has caused some challenges in the past. It's interesting that we spend a lot of time listening, but we haven't really had formal classes to teach us how to do this well. Our classes have probably included reading and writing, but not as much listening. If you are lucky, maybe you've had some speech classes, or you're involved with Toastmasters to help learn more about presentation skills and speaking in front of the public. But we spend about 45% of our time listening, 50% speaking, 16% reading, and 9% writing. So this seems a bit backwards in that the two lower scores, reading and writing, are the classes that we've had the most throughout primary school. According to the research, our listening efficiency, just as humankind, is somewhere around 10 to 25% per person. So most of us, I'm pretty confident in saying, would have room for growth, room for improvement. Active listening is what experts are calling the better way to listen. It's the way that more people are listening to try and engage more, to try and have a deeper focus and concentration on what the other person is saying. The Center for Creative Leadership recommends 7 tips or tasks in order to listen better. They say ask open-ended questions. So as someone is speaking to you or you're having a conversation, you could ask open-ended questions in order to get additional information. 1, it shows that you're listening, but 2, it gives you it's a deeper dive into that conversation. Probing is another option, and that's where we continue to ask more questions, but they're very focused questions, where open-ended questions could quite possibly go a lot of different directions. Probing is trying to get to the end result. It's trying to get to the bottom line. So instead of having a conversation that could go on for days, probing helps you get to that end result faster. Requesting clarification. This can help you restate something to say, did I hear you right? In order to just make sure that everyone's on the same page. Paraphrasing is a wonderful way to take whatever the person has just said and rephrase it in a condensed version. So not necessarily just restating it verbatim, but rephrasing it to just affirm again that you have heard this correctly. Being attuned to and reflecting on their feelings. So part of communication is their body language and their vocal tone. Now, if it's only the written text, then sometimes it's difficult to pick up on feelings. But when you can add voice inflection, pitch, tone, as well as body language, you can really pick up on what they're feeling. And you can empathize with them as they're speaking to say things like, oh, I understand that you're upset, or, oh, this is very exciting for you. So depending on the conversation, you can then pick up on it, reflect on it, and even affirm and empathize with that other person. And then summarizing. So, a great tool once you're speaking with someone else, you're having a conversation, is to listen to them for a period of time and then summarize that chunk of the conversation to say something like, okay, if I hear you correctly, this is what you're saying. And then you restate, you paraphrase, and that way, again, everyone is on the same page. Well, the Professional Christian Coaching Institute also has recommendations for active listening, and they actually have quite a few, so I only picked some of them. They say to attend to the other person's agenda, not our own. So when we sit and speak with someone, having a conversation, as they are talking, keep in mind that this is their conversation. They are telling us something, and we need to follow their agenda and not insert our own. The second is to hear their concerns, goals, values, and beliefs. And with this, we can then accept, encourage, explore, and reinforce those values, beliefs, concerns, and so forth. Also, distinguish between words, tone of voice, and body language. Sometimes the words that come out are different than what their body language or vocal tone is. And if you catch that disconnect, there's likely more to the story that you can then ask open-ended questions or probe a little bit deeper. And then get to the bottom line instead of engaging in long stories. So, to have a good conversation, it's more than just listening, it's actually getting to that bottom line, making sure that you understand what it is the other person wants you to do, and engaging completely with them. So, if I wanted a storyteller, then I could go and listen to someone just tell a story. But that's not the purpose of a conversation. The purpose is oftentimes to have someone partner with you, to challenge you, to stretch you, encourage you, to help you get some clarity. And coaching is a great tool for that. Active listening is a fantastic tool. My assignment for you is to consider how well you listen. And some of the recommendations have been to practice. Practice with someone for 4 minutes a day using these techniques in this video. You can go to my LinkedIn article and get a full description of all of PCCI's recommendations in addition to what we've covered here. But some of the techniques that you could use: open-ended questions, reflecting and probing, have an open mind, listen to their words and their silence. And the research shows that the silence is just as important. One, it gives you a chance to just think about what they just said and either paraphrase it, summarize it in your own mind. But oftentimes, the silence is giving you additional information, those pauses, even if they're those long, uncomfortable pauses. Sometimes there's more to the story in those pauses. So listen to both of those. That silent moment isn't a time for you to check your phone or to stare off into the blank abyss, but it's a time for you to still focus on that conversation. Also, distinguish between words, vocal tone, and body language. And in doing that, see if they all align or see if there's some conflict or disconnect between them. If so, probe a little bit more. Again, check my article for additional techniques on this, but this practice, they recommend taking 2 minutes per person. So if you have a partner, then you can practice this. You'll speak for 2 minutes while they listen using these techniques. And then they'll speak for 2 minutes while you listen using these techniques. If you do this on a routine basis, you should find that your listening skills are improving. If I can help you with any of your communication skills, including listening, I would love to help. Reach out to me at drdebradine.com. There's a contact form. Just fill it out, and I will get back to you. Have a fantastic day.